All right, so part 2 for your guided notes. We are doing the parts of our body that help us to create sound. By the way, update on Piper. She's no longer in my arms. She decided she was hungry, so she's having lunch. Oh, and I'm doing a hands-free. Mom win. Check. Okay, so anyways, parts of the body. Here we go. You need to label. So on your picture, you don't have to label all of these things. That's way too much. Because the ones that you need to know are labeled right there on the side in the blue. Diaphragm, lungs, trachea, larynx, vocal cords, and oral cavity. And I'm just going to kind of go through and highlight them so that you can see where they're at. So your diaphragm, again, is that muscle right here. Okay, and that muscle pushes up on your lungs. If you're a singer, you know, they might have taught you about how the diaphragm pushes up on your lungs. The next one, so we got, let's see, diaphragm, check. Your lungs right here, which the whole job of your lungs is to take in that air to help oxygenate your blood. Okay, then your trachea, which is this tube that the air goes through. So we got lungs, trachea, check. Oh, lost the bottle. Okay, I got it. No worries. I know you were concerned. Okay, the next one is your larynx or your vocal cords, which is right here. Okay, your larynx. And inside your larynx is your vocal cords. So your vocal cords are a part of it. And then your oral cavity, which just means your mouth, the hole in your mouth, your oral cavity. Okay, check. Let's see. Got it. And next slide, here we go. Here is a closer image of what it looks like. So in the video that you saw of the singers, you've got the white bands. Those are the actual vocal folds, okay? And those are the parts that vibrate. So your air is shot through your trachea, and then these little parts vibrate. I will read this to you that's on the slide so that you can fill in your blanks. Vocal folds. This entire structure to the right is your larynx, but the white bands are the actual vocal folds. Everyone's folds are slightly different, which is why we all have different voices. The shape changes the pitch. Okay. How do we hear? So all about the ear. You will have an ear quiz really soon. So hopefully this is a recap and you're going to do awesome on that quiz. So how do we hear? Vibrations travel through the ear canal. So I'm going to kind of draw some more. Okay. Vibrations travel through the ear canal, as you can see through the waves. This part of the ear we kind of just call the outer ear. Okay. This tube is the the ear canal. So like if you're cleaning out your ears with a Q-tip, that is what you are going into. Eventually your ear canal comes to an end, and that's your eardrum. Okay, that is the very first part of your ear that vibrates, is the eardrum. That might be a very important thing to remember, that the eardrum is the first part of your ear to vibrate. Okay, and when that eardrum vibrates, it then vibrates these three bones right here. That would be the hammer, anvil, stirrup. Hammer, anvil, stirrup. Hammer, anvil, stirrup. Hopefully, I want you to actually like say it, even if it's mentally. Hammer, anvil, stirrup. Hammer, anvil, stirrup. Your ear has three bones. Look at this. H, A, S. Your ear has three bones. Hammer, anvil, stirrup. Okay, those are the three, and that is the order that they vibrate in. So once that eardrum vibrates, which the eardrum is just a thin membrane and the hammer is just barely touching it. But again, it's like dominoes. One thing vibrates and it makes the next thing vibrate and it makes the next thing vibrate. Let's see. Erase. And next slide. Go back to my drawing, okay? So we're here now. So the eardrum vibrated, which vibrated the hammer, which vibrated the anvil, which vibrated the stirrup. And that stirrup pushes on / vibrates this snail looking guy, which is the cochlea. There's a snail in my Coke. Okay, you know, like there's a snake in my boot, like Toy Story. I love Toy Story. But anyways, so when that cochlea, whenever it pushes on it, that's when the liquid moves on the inside of the cochlea, because there's two things inside of this cochlea. There is cilia and there is liquid. Okay, two things inside of there. So whenever the liquid moves, the cilia moves. When the cilia moves, it creates that electrical signal that is taken by the auditory nerve to your brain. I'm going to go ahead and just read through what's on the slide so you can fill in your blanks. So the eardrum vibrating causes the three bones, in the ear to vibrate, which is detected by the cochlea, which remember is the snail guy. The cochlea has millions of little hairs in them called the cilia. Inside the ear is also fluid that moves with the vibrations. That movement of the cilia against the auditory nerve sends that message to the brain to decipher so that we know what we're hearing, not just that we are hearing sounds. All right, video time. Loading, loading, loading.
Ears are constantly active. They pick up sound waves and change them into information that the brain can interpret, such as music or speech. Sound is a pressure wave that can vibrate either quickly or slowly. Slow vibrations produce deep sounds, while quick vibrations produce high-pitched sounds. Sound enters the ear and is directed through the ear canal, where it first reaches the eardrum. As the eardrum begins to vibrate, it sets the ossicular chain in motion. The ossicular chain consists of the hammer, anvil, and the stirrup. Sound vibrations move along the ossicular chain and into the inner ear. Within the inner ear, the cochlea plays a central role. It is here that the mechanical energy of sound is converted into complex electrical signals, which are then passed on to the brain. In simplified terms, the cochlea is a spiral-shaped tube filled with fluid. Sensory cells, also called hair cells, line the entire length of the cochlea. These hair cells have varying degrees of sensitivity for the detection of different tones or frequencies. This allows the ear to perceive the entire spectrum of sound. The change from mechanical vibration to electrical pulse is a complex process resulting from the movement of hair cells in the cochlea. Along the entire length of the cochlea, the hair cells are arranged like the keys of a piano. Hair cells located at the base or lower region of the cochlea are responsible for high frequency, while hair cells at the apex are responsible for the low frequencies. As the fluid in the cochlea is set in motion, it causes a corresponding movement of the fine structures on the surface of the hair cells to take place. These movements cause tension differences, which produce electrical signals that are passed along the hearing nerve to the brain. The auditory cortex of the brain interprets this information as sound, for example, as music or speech. The entire chain of events, including the various steps that convert sound waves from the environment into information that the brain can interpret,